an interest in it. That was what Tinubu did to Jonathan in 2015. Went and brought in a northern and used him to cause a disruptive change to remove Jonathan. So I will ask Jonathan, I will advise Jonathan, if I were him, I will not run, because they would in the mud. They would destroy him so much that he will regret he ever even contemplated it. He's enjoying his life so much now. You know, if Jonathan travels to any country, he's more respected than Tinubu. So what is he looking for in Tinubu's job? For me, Jonathan now has more international credibility than Tinubu. So what is he looking in Tinubu's job? He has been a former president with all the respect and all the accolades and all the paraphernalia of a former president. So if I were him, I wouldn't even think of it. There was a time I actually thought about Jonathan too. But after a while, after real close thinking, I'm like, no. It will be a minus for him. Especially after the wife, made some public comments. I think I agree with the wife on that. In hundreds of thousands. That's the truth. Jonathan.
That's a Ken Okonkwo. So to Ken, he won't ever advise Jonathan to join it for all of their reasons. Because the APC, Ebekebe would to enter him, eat him, and all of that stuff. So it's better to go and bring somebody from the other place to come and remove Tifnumbu. That's what Tifnumbu did. He went to the north. He brought somebody, right, to challenge Jonathan and remove him. So anybody who wants to remove Tifnumbu, they have to go and bring somebody from the north. This theory. That is if they even have a country to govern. Irabor, the former CDS, Chief of Defense Staff of Nigeria, I think, just wrote a book titled Scar, or should I call it the Scar of Insurgency on Nigeria, the truth as he witnessed it. That's why he called it. The truth as I witnessed it. So at that book launch, Obasanjo was there, Sultan was there, Kuka was there. Lots of them were there. So read about the supposed docu-series of fighting insurgency. Kuka was talking about the Chibok girls, Leah Sharibu, and others who are never to be seen again, right? Then the Sultan of Sokoto was saying, listen, if you look at this Boko Haram, the Boko Haram and the insurgency in Nigeria, the terrorism in Nigeria, it's not about taking power, as majority have sort of come to believe, right? Taking power means to force caliphate on all of us. So all of us will become caliphate, right? He said, no, that's not the reason. If you pay attention very well, you realize that their intention is to disrupt every development going on in Nigeria. That is to hurt them as much as possible. And it sounded about right. And I remember Takia, but that's where we're going to go next. They are talking about the insecurity of Nigeria. The publisher of the book, Irabor himself, let's hear it from him first.
Now, the account in this book is a painful truth as I see it. It is my hope that it will elicit a national conversation which is aimed at focusing attention on credible solutions to the nation's challenges. As we unveil this book, I invite you to join me on a journey of reflection, empathy, and hope. I have always believed that man exists to solve problems. If you are not solving any problem, then your existence is worthless. Therefore, let us remember the victims of Boko Haram's atrocities. And let us also note that scars, the journey, Nigeria's journey and Boko Haram conundrum is not an indictment. Take it from me, it's not an indictment. It is a national soul-searching presentation. It is an awakening reality to either act dutifully for progress or do nothing and tend towards extinction. May that not be our portion. Hence, let us recommit ourselves to building a nation anchored on justice, equity, and peace. For me, this book is not just a narrative. It is a call for sustained hope and optimism. In the words of Nelson Mandela, I do not lose. I either win or I learn. Therefore, our national experiences should be seen as wins and lessons. Let me add that the proceeds from this book will be used to sustain support to schools and hospitals, which my family and I have been committed to over the years. Once again, thank you for being here. As I assure you that SCARS is quite optimistic that collectively we can turn our SCARS into victories of national.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele. Nuisance.
Baba Nuisance. He was one of the service chiefs under Boko Haram. And right now, what he had the opportunity of doing that he didn't do is writing book about it. And now, like others before him, he's passing it on. This book is to help us to understand the fight against Boko Haram. It's not an indictment and then blah nonsense. When you go and get the book, it will tell you how, Boko Haram was attacking, when Boko Haram was attacking so place in Borno, we're in a flight with Mr. President going to, then we have to divert back. We have to call emergency meeting. Those are the nonsense they're going to write in there, because the war against Boko Haram and the other terrorists in Nigeria, they have become an industry, so to say. Here you get now. So when Buratai the Butcher was there and others, right? Then when he left, and they left a country so, God, man, so terrorized, he was rewarded with ambassadorial this or that. Others got other board appointment here and there under Boko Haram. But the terrorism continued, right? So you have the chance of actually doing something significant to end it. You didn't. All of this, it's under Boko Haram. This one will be saying an old general. This guy just left the position probably like, maybe a year or so ago. Do you understand? They were the ones who are always wearing all those starchy uniforms where they carry walking stick. And they are taking all these crisp pictures to show how neat they are. All those things. There is one of them. Now, you don't go write book. So how is that book going to now? Is it now sharing with us information of how to defeat Boko Haram? And who is? There were many. Obasanjo was there. His own take on the matter.
Shouldn't we examine our past? What is in our past that is becoming debilitating, destructive to our present and obviously to our future? And I believe that is what you have tried to do in your book. There's normally the tendency, don't talk about it, let's leave it. And I believe that we must get out of that culture. Let us see it as it is. The history, the life of any nation, any family, any institution has the good, the bad, and the ugly. What is important, and our Master of Ceremony and Mistress of Ceremony made that point, is let us have it, let us look at it, and let us think about it. And when we have to find solution, we may even look beyond what we can see. Let us think beyond what is available. And I think that is what you have done here. And I will urge and appeal that those who have things to say about this particular issue of Boko Haram, we don't even know where Boko Haram stops and banditry starts and kidnapping begins. They are all mixed together. We can't go on this way. Surely we can't. And something must be done. And the beginning of something being done is this book, Scars, Nigeria's Journey and the Boko Haram Conundrum.
Àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ yìí ó dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọpọlọ rẹ̀ yòrò tàbí ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi síbi aláṣà àwọn ọpọlọ rẹ̀ tí ọpọlọ ikú ó jọ má bẹ́ẹ̀ tọpọlọ rẹ̀ ò tó nǹkan rárá tàbí ètò wà ń bẹ kó má tiẹ̀ wúlò má rárá.
Like, did you hear the last part? The solution to this, problem, the beginning of the solution to this problem is this book. Somebody write the book. Is that the book now that we have to read to now defeat Boko Haram? For somebody who is an immediate past chief of defense staff, what's that his position again? CDS, defense staff of Nigeria. So he don't do his own. More people have been killed under him. More people have been kidnapped. More territories have been captured by these terrorists. Now he don't go write book. And they say solution to this terrorism is going to be this book. So who is fooling who? Or who they allow himself to be fooled? By them. There is Reverend Cooker. Yeah, there's one called Reverend Cooker. Was there too. That one used the occasion to remind us the atrocities, the evil of Boko Haram. And in that room, Boko Haram sponsors, Boko Haram sympathizers, the Fulani terrorist sympathizers at the enablers, they are inside that room with them. Will they buy any betting? Like if we put any money, do I not get money, but I wish I've got. But I feel okay. Like I can put anything on it. Trust me. They are inside that same room with them. Right? But use the occasion to remind everybody still. Said that Nigeria could have done so well, done better, if it hasn't encountered this level of carnage, destruction that has lasted longer than a decade. Again, it is just the gathering of elites ranting about something that will just look like let's pretend that we care. You get what I mean now? Everything ends in that room, unfortunately. But they are talking about it, right? That's a plus.
Now, the author goes on to talk about the Boko Haram conundrum. Now, the good thing about the book is that it doesn't discuss the theology of Boko Haram, which is a subject for another day. But he makes the point, even if it is in passing,
about the circumstances, social, economic, political, that brought about this. And I will speak to it towards the end of my presentation. But please, let us not forget, in all this conversation about Boko Haram, and I think this is where the Nigerian government has gotten it wrong. First of all, let's not forget, we are the ones who gave them the name Boko Haram. They didn't say that they are Boko Haram. We are the ones who gave them the name. And because we gave them the name Boko Haram, we have become comfortable. It has affected our strategy. And that is why we're focusing on, they say they know like book, that the education, Western education is, but if you go back, and I've done a little bit of research on Boko Haram for quite some time. My brother and the director of the Kuka Center, Father Barkindo, here, his PhD thesis at the prestigious School of Oriental and African Studies was on Boko Haram. They've done extensive translations of the kind of things that Boko Haram was talking about. And until you access the kind of thing Boko Haram was talking about, you are shooting at the wrong board. Because the question which the chairman raised as to how 15 years later we are unable to resolve this issue means that you cannot cast out a devil that you have not named. Boko Haram says their name is Jama'atu Ali Sunnah Leader Awati Wal Jihad. That is their name. If you can't pronounce it, too bad. Because if you call me John, I won't answer. If you call me Philip, I won't answer. Even if I commit a crime and you took me to court and you try me and you secure a conviction and you spell my name Matthew with one T, I can argue that this is not my Matthew. So we are calling them Boko Haram, but they have told you this is their name. And the English translation is that people committed to the prophet's teachings for the propagation of jihad. That's what is in their blood. So no matter how many bullets you shoot them with, and I will come to that point, they have told you this is what they are committed to. And in fairness to all of us, including those of us who are in this room, is there any Muslim who will say is not committed to the teachings of the Holy Prophet? The challenge is what context of preaching. Now, the author talks about the irony of Boko Haram. That is in chapter 6. And he addresses a lot of issues in chapter 6 and chapter 7, which also catalog the forces that led to the destruction, the federal government college in Buniyadi, the kidnappings in Chibok, Dapchi, the destruction of infrastructure such as the UN building in Abuja, assassinations of people like Jafar Adam in Kano, and so on. Now, the issue of Leah Sharibu and the Chibok girls, these are what the author refers to as the scars. And in my view, as long as Leah Sharibu is unaccounted for, as long as any of the abducted children in Nigeria is unaccounted for, every child that is unaccounted for is a scar on the face of Nigeria. Now,
before I go on, let me postulate from the Franz Fanonian dictum, which stipulates that the dialectics of reconciling two conflicting ideas is the algebra of revolution. The overbearing intervention of the state government had further exacerbated oporombium and amounting to sadomasochisms. Acrimony and chaos in our community. It was a contumelious stratagem by political jobbers to siphon monies. We suffer what we call political axivia nunantorum. Conclusively, we are a microcosm of the issues in the Niger Delta in the macrocosm. Today, we as a people are stating, voxe populi, voxe Dei.
It is smoke Igbo. It is taking Indian.
So, Reverend Coker was there to remind us of what is Boko Haram, the scars of Boko Haram, and these are the things we know, man. So they are kind of making it like, this is coming from somebody who had direct experience of fighting the Boko Haram, so then he knows the psychology of the Boko Haram. But he supposed to write book when they have defeated these terrorists. And Nigeria is now referring to a year or 2 years of no single terrorism attack. Nobody is kidnapped. Every refugee camp in Nigeria closed down. People returned back to their villages, communities, and all that, and they are safe. That is when you can now have a victory lap. Should be now waiting they call it that victory lap. So the victory lap would then be, oh, how we did it. So let me give you the psychology so that people, experts, researchers, who want to understand what led to